Well, Ami, it's been a hot minute since I've had the honor to sit down with you. One of the first people I ever actually sat down with in the space to talk about building stuff of incredible proportions was well, you were in the room. So it's great to have you here on the show, and it's great to see that you're still building. I mean, you're obviously no stranger to the community. You've been involved in the Eden, on EOS elections. You did quite well over there with some of your proposals. Now you're here with us to talk about your Pomelo proposal, which I think just sounds cool. Like, even if people don't know what it is, they should vote for it because, EOS in a box just sounds great.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, thank you for having me. It's great to be on your show. I really enjoy it, and Eden has been a great experience, and I really love the idea of experimenting with more equal animals ideas in real life, even though it's using Zoom and remote connection, but you can sense that it's connection with real people that have the same purpose or vision for the long term, and that's very good. And Pomelo fits in nicely with that, and people say there's a very nice synergy between Eden and Pomelo because Eden people are it's like benevolent politicians or leaders, and
Yeah.
and we get a budget, a monthly budget, depending on the level that you get voted to, and hopefully this organization will have a much deeper levels. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 levels deep pyramid of elections, and you're going to have different levels of budgets and lots of different people, and you can use these budgets to vote for Pomelo projects.
Yeah, and
And
as you say, like on Eden as well, it's kind of cool because you're kind of surrounding yourself with people of like mind, and a lot of those are people who want to see the network succeed. They want to see
yeah,
development succeed, and more things to come to the ecosystem. So I
yeah.
can you maybe inform anyone who doesn't know, because you actually, I
Mhm.
believe you got some funding from the Eden on EOS election. And
Yeah.
so what were you using that funding for? And is that funding connected to this Pomelo project?
Yeah. Okay. So in the second trial run for the elections, I won the sortition, which is a random choice at the last level, and I got the big prize of 2,000 EOS, and I used that to develop a proof of concept for EOS in a box, which leverages this relatively new standard called WebAuthn, and that's a way for any developer using HTML and JavaScript. So, normal human being developers and not superhuman C++ smart contract developers. And I was able to use WebAuthn to ask well, we all have modern phones, and in our phones, we have a hardware security module. It's like a Ledger Nano or whatever piece of hardware you have, which is secure and is isolated from the internet. You have that on your phone. And what's nice is that it handles keys for you, and you can use JavaScript, which is a normal day-to-day language on the web, and you can say, can you please make me a new key pair? And it does that and keeps the private key safe and only sends you the public key, which is all you need. And then you can create an account on EOS with this public key. And then when you want to use your account, you go again to this standard and you say, can you please sign this transaction for me? So you're giving it the summary of the transaction. It, in the hidden secure place, calculates whatever it needs with the private key and broadcasts back to you just the transaction hash or the signature. And that was the proof of concept I made with the prize money I got from the second trial election. And I want to take it to the next step and make it a real wallet. And that means I need to concentrate more on user friendliness and making it also fail safe. Because what happens if your phone is stolen or gets lost or broken?
Right.
You don't want to be locked out of your account. So on one hand, the thief cannot take your funds from you because he doesn't have your fingerprint. And this standard only works if you verify that it's the actual person that is supposed to be in front of the phone.
Yes,
Then,
so keep your hands inside of the hands and feet inside of the vehicle at all times, because the last thing you want to do is lose your fingerprint. They're just putting it out there, right? Or use a fingerprint that, like, the people might not suspect, instead of always using your thumb or your index finger. Like, use your baby finger or something for that wallet, because, like, we never know, back streets of, some alley somewhere. Anyway, jokes aside, that's a really cool adaptation, I guess, in a way, right? Like, so it's only going to work, with, I guess, a biometric of a fingerprint attached to it. And if you don't have that fingerprint, then you can't log in. Now, I have a couple questions. Question number one, knock on wood. What if I die? How does my, spouse or my daughter or somebody like this, how do they get the funds? Question number two, because we've got some pretty amazing wallets out there in the EOS space. And Scatter, it's not really being developed, but like at the time it was great, and that standard that has been set, like a lot of other mobile wallets are using it. For example, Token Pocket and other wallets are using that Scatter technology still, development still. And then we've got Anchor. Now Anchor also recently they're working on a mobile wallet. And then we've got Wombat. All great wallets, and I think that you would agree that they all have like their benefits. But how does the EOS in a box differ from those wallets that already exist?
Okay, yeah, I think these are great questions, and they're actually related. So what I'm planning on doing currently with this Pomelo fund is make a version 1, which is not a proof of concept, which is what I did in the initial phase. And what I need to do is work on the 2 levels of security that you have on EOS, because each account has, at a minimum, 2 permissions. And one is for day-to-day use, and the other is for emergency or the super user or the admin of your account. And usually what you have is 2 different key pairs for these. But I'm proposing to use your fingerprint for the day-to-day use. That's like the key to your house. And then when something bad happens, on a rare occasion, you break your key inside the lock, or you just lose your keys, then you call a locksmith, right? And that's when you use, on EOS analogy, you use the admin account or the super user. And that on EOS can be any other account or another key pair, or it can be a combination, or you can say 2 out of 4 or of this list can activate or can actually make a transaction using this key. And this key is only used to change the day-to-day key. So when you call a locksmith, you don't say, okay, now I'm going to call you every time I want to get into my house, right? You just say, fix my lock and give me a new key, and that's it. Right. So if your phone breaks, you buy a new phone, and then you connect it to your account with a new fingerprint. But to actually make this change on the blockchain, you need the super user or the admin key, and that's like your locksmith. So
can you do anything else with that admin key? Like, can you remove funds?
Yes.
Can you? Oh, you can.
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say that'd be really cool if you couldn't remove funds, but
that's
well, really cool if you couldn't, right?
Well, what you could do is you could have a smart contract that changes that, but the default is that the super user or the higher level permission does everything, including changing keys. So you
Okay.
have to trust that person that you're giving access to this feature.
I
So the
like this.
way,
Like there seems like there could be a lot of possibilities here. Like if that fingerprint is just acting as another key, then potentially in the future you could add more fingerprints. So you could have one account that had
yes,
2 or 3 different fingerprints, like for your kids or for your family or your
yes,
wife or something like that, and they wouldn't have to worry about having that downloaded to their phone. They wouldn't have to worry about like having to sign and read the transactions, right? Like you could set it up
yeah,
as a children account that they could only spend that money, like, a certain amount or something like that. Potentially in the future, all these smart contracts could be written around this to really make it a lot easier from a, usability
yeah,
communal type of thing. And I like it. Like, you could potentially even do it with like organizations where like, they had to,
yeah.
so I see how that actually works. I'm kind of excited about this. This is really cool.
I'm also excited about it. I think a wallet is an unfortunate choice of words because it's actually your keychain. It holds
Right.
your keys. It's not holding your tokens, and the
Right.
focus shouldn't be on money, which is what Bitcoin did as a first proof of concept. And but you use your I use my wallet, my Anchor wallet, to log into Violet Garden, and that's just a social network,
Mm.
post things and post some likes and compete on VIO tokens. But that's a game. It's just a social network. It's not sending money and hoping that it will just appreciate in value.
Well, and I'm a big fan of what Wombat does, and I think that they really make like EOS a lot easier. Covering the cost of keys and things like that. But you still have to worry about, do you want to download and have your own keys, and if you do, then you still have to pay for it, and like it's not it's simple onboarding, and it's great for like users who want to do games and stuff like that. But I mean,
Yeah,
it doesn't really solve like some of the problems that like EOS has, right? Like um it does solve,
yeah,
sorry, some of the problems that EOS has, but it doesn't really solve like problems with like the overall usability, right? And like again, I think they're closer to some of the other blockchains that profess to be easy. So now my next question
yeah.
is: this is going to be only a mobile wallet, or will it be operational with anything that utilizes a fingerprint? For example, could you use it with an iPad, or could you use it with like a Surface or something like this?
Well, it needs to have the fingerprint sensor or Face ID mechanism built into the device. And in future versions, I might use YubiKeys, so it can also work with external hardware. But initially, it's going to be a built-in device that has the sensor integrated.
Okay,
And
great.
the initial there are several different scenarios where you can use it, and EOS is very powerful and very flexible, but it has a cost, and that it's less user friendly because of that, and we have to bridge the gap. So I'm envisioning a very simple scenario where I tell my wife, my 2 kids, my parents, my brother and sister, uh, just pick a name, pick a 12-character name, and use your fingerprint and write as the custodian or your locksmith, write Ami, 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 which is my account, right? So and I say just do it, don't worry about it, and don't put your life savings there, and it will be okay. And then you can log into websites and play games and trade NFTs, and that's the focus. It's not gambling on the future value of Bitcoin. It's not nothing like that. That's what I
Right.
think. And if
Yeah,
they
and
want to,
you've got a lot of like. I definitely encourage you to read the script over on Pomelo. grants page, because like, you know, you've had a lot of discussions around this with a lot of other developers or a lot of other Eden members, and also like, you know, just to point out that like once this is a workable product, once it, you know, is secure, once it's safe, then the potential to branch out into other EOS.io chains is also there as well. You know, similar technology, infrastructure, things like that. So I think that's really exciting as well, because like we really we really do live like in a world where people don't type in passwords anymore, really, right? Like even on the computer, a lot of people just sign in with Facebook or Twitter or you know, email or their Google account or whatever.
And it's more secure this way. Yeah.
Right. And it's stored in their keychain on their computer or in their, you know, authenticator or something like that, you know, the ability to like recover your account. But like, there's not really that many, you know, blockchain protocols anywhere that I know of that like make it that easy, right? You still have to, it's like, don't reveal your key to anyone, but like write it down and put it in a safe place, right?
And also, recovering the account on blockchain should be different than recovering the account on Facebook and Twitter and other. They all rely on your email, and your email is pretty secure these days. But on blockchain, you cannot rely on that email system. So you're relying on your friends that know you in person. And the next level, once my family and friends will say, okay, now I have a substantial amount of money on my wallet, and I don't want you to be the sole, you know, key master. So they can set up a list of friends or family members and say, we need 3 of them to agree to replace my key, you know, out of 5, out of 6, or whatever, or maybe 7 out of 12. It can be tweaked, and you can add time delays. It's a very thought out system.
Well, and like conceptually, I love it, because like you said, like you could potentially put it so that like, okay, in order to do anything with this, you know, master key, in order to do anything with it other than like reset the true owner's fingerprint, you need like 3 other people to like sign off with their fingerprint or something like that, right? And like, you know, I really like that concept, that idea, because like it could be, you know, pulled into wills, it could be pulled into like, you know, what happens in accidents, right? Like there's a lot of really good things here. Like if your account accidentally gets hacked somehow, right? Like it can't really, I guess you're, you know, somebody slips you roofies and you're at a bar and you lose your fingerprint. I don't know how that works, honestly. Like it's funny because I'm trying to think about like how you would hack an account like that, which is almost impossible now, if you put it that way, right? And I guess like you say, right, like there's a lot more risk if you have to rely on a password that's written down or that's copied down. And I like the ease and usability of it too, because, you know, if something happens to you and the account needs to be recovered with a fingerprint from somebody else's device, that's a lot easier than having to like download all the applications and do this and do that and plug in the passwords and like figure out how to, you know, actually use it. It's just like, yeah, I'm here, I'm taking over this account. You know, I like it. It's really ambitious, I think, but it's definitely necessary. And I don't know of any other blockchains that are doing similar things. So that's really cool, Ami.
I think only EOS.io compatible blockchains can do that, because they have these permission systems and a separation of the account name and the key pair. You don't have that on Bitcoin. You don't have that on Ethereum, similar blockchains. And yeah, the proposal is very short, so I added translations to Portuguese and Arabic by friends in the community, in some Eden members and some friends I have. And of course, there's a Chinese and Korean version, because that's the recommended way on Pomelo. And I really like Anchor, and I'm learning from other wallets, and I want to incorporate good ideas from them. But as you see that the proposal is very short, it fits in one screen that you show here on the video. And I like the wallet software to be short and easy, because it's going to be open source, and you can take it and put it on any website. It doesn't have to be on eosinabox.com, which is going to be revamped soon. And the website is going to be more welcoming. So if you will go there in a few days, it's going to have like a welcome page with the features and explainer, and then it's going to have a button to install it on your phone. But that's important. And putting that on other websites is also important if you want to have a seamless integration with your game or your whatever smart contract application is, so people don't have to go back and forth between their website and EOS in a box and coming back.
Okay, very cool. Yeah. So I think there's about 6 days left, if I'm not mistaken, for all proposals. So if you're watching this back later and you like what you see, again, it's quadratic funding mechanism. So you can go and you can donate 1 or 2 EOS, and it actually goes a long way. It might not seem like much, but that's the way that it was, created, and why it's so powerful. So definitely go read the proposal if you like it. Chip in an EOS or 2. Definitely helpful for the ability to progress the ecosystem, progress how we can interact with it in a variety of ways. So we'll wrap up this episode of Pitch Deck, but actually I'll be back in about an hour if you happen to be around for another one. I
Oh,
believe with John Williamson of
wow.
of Violet Garden. I think that's what we got next. But anyway, thanks for joining us, Ami, and please do take care. And all of you out there who are watching this back later, thanks also for popping in. And please tweet this out, tag us, do whatever. Let's get Pomelo to the place that it needs to be in the community, so that people are, putting some funds in there, so that we can, move forward in the direction that we want to go. So thanks, and
thank you so much.
I'll see you guys next time.
Bye.